Hello! In this video, I'm gonna show you settings to change immediately on your Samsung Galaxy Tab S10 Lite. If you've got your Samsung Galaxy Tab S10 Lite hands-on, then you may already like it, but after you change the settings that I'll show you here in this video, then you'll probably learn something new that will change how your experience goes through. Yeah, I think it is worth changing. Let's simply start off with settings, and we'll find something very interesting, something very unusual if you go to Wi-Fi, connections, then Wi-Fi, then click on three dots in top right corner and click on intelligent Wi-Fi. Now scroll down and you'll find intelligent Wi-Fi button. Click on it 7 times. Now slide down and a new button will appear, Connectivity Labs. Click on it. Now slide down. There's lots of different things that are for whatever reason hidden, and it's worth checking them because there's a thing called Home Wi-Fi Inspection, which is a really good feature. What it does is you can click on it, then click on Start, select a Wi-Fi network that you want to inspect. Let's see, for example, this network. Click on Next. Now it says that it's excellent, but when I click on Next, then click on Start, it will actually show me a graph of my connection. The higher the graph goes, the better the connection of Wi-Fi is, and you can move around your house to see where the connection is the best. So if you later need a good connection, you know where to sit with your tablet. Or you can try moving around your router if it's possible. So also you can establish the best placement for your router that works great for where you typically sit at. Now I'm gonna click on Done and I'm gonna exit it. Now, still in Connectivity Labs, there's another thing which is customized Wi-Fi list setting, and now you can enable show band information. Now if I go back to just Wi-Fi, you can see it's not yet refreshed, but you can see it doesn't really show the Wi-Fi bands, whether it's 5 GHz or 2.4 GHz. 2.4 GHz works on higher distances but is slower, and 5 GHz works on lower distances but is way faster. Now if I close the settings app and reopen it, you will notice that if I go to Wi-Fi, all of the Wi-Fis now show me the band, and I know which one to connect to in order to have the best possible Wi-Fi connection, as long as I'm close enough to that Wi-Fi. Now let's get to Bluetooth. So also in connections, let's go to Bluetooth, right here, then click on 3 dots in top right corner and go to Advanced Settings. Now there is an option called Music Share. You can enable it and it'll let your nearby friends play music on your Bluetooth speaker or headphones. It will let you not need to disconnect from your headphones or speaker in order for those friends to be able to play music. They can just play music if you don't disconnect, because there will be an option for it. Both devices need to have Wi-Fi and Bluetooth turned on while sharing, and just your friend's phone or tablet will see the Bluetooth device on the list even if it's connected to you. Now you can select whether you want to share it with contacts only or with everyone. You can also select whether you want them to ask for the permission to connect, and if you want them to disconnect when nothing is played for a certain time. Now let's get to the next thing, which is modes and routines. Then you can go to routines, and here you can set up a routine, which is an if-then action, which means if something happens, your tablet will do something. If you click on plus, you can create your own routine. And of course, they can be very simple, but you can get them actually pretty complicated. Let's start off with something simple. I will demonstrate it on something simple, but feel free to mess around with it and try making it pretty useful for yourself, of course. So now let's get to something like, for example, place. When I'm at my work, because I have a place added to my to my Google Maps, then I can simply select the radius and select that whether the action will happen when I leave or when I arrive. I will select when I leave my work. Let's click on done. Then something will happen. You can add another condition, and then you will be able to select whether you want the routine to happen if either of the things happen or if all things at once happen. Now I will add what this routine will do. Let's select something simple, but of course you can set it to whatever else in the world you like. Let's select turn on mode. No, maybe not. Turn on sleep mode. I don't have my modes configured, so maybe let's set something else like notifications. And let's select do not disturb off. It'll turn off my do not disturb when I leave my work. That's a really good thing, so I don't really need to remember whether remember to turn it off manually. Now you can set a certain icon for it, like let's set this home with an arrow, like I'm going home, then click on done. That's a really good feature, I think. Now let's select, let's go to something else, and we'll need to go to advanced features and settings. There's gonna be quite a few things that we use here. First, you can go to motions and gestures and find the motions and gestures, double tap to turn on screen and double tap to turn off screen. These features are really worth enabling, because when your screen is off, then you can double tap on it to turn it on. Then I can unlock it, and if I want to lock it, I can lock it normally or double tap on some free space on my home screen. Now let's get to another feature, also in motions and gestures in advanced features, cover to mute. If you have any incoming calls or alarms, you can mute them by putting your hand over the screen like that, literally just like that. So I'm gonna enable it. I can mute it that way. It's also a very common thing to happen on smartwatches. You can see there's a smartwatch. I can tap on it and it goes black, or if there's a call, I can mute it. But it doesn't disconnect, it just mutes. So I can do the same here if I get a call. Now let's go to the next thing, which is gonna be this time the side button. You can set long press to either a digital assistant, so in my case it will open Gemini, which is something like ChatGPT. You can ask it several different live questions, but you can also ask it about some knowledge, but also you can let it create a note. You can add an event calendar by saying to Gemini to do it, and there's much more into it. We'll be getting back to that later because we'll be setting something else up connected with Gemini. You can also set the long press to power off menu if you prefer it that way. But don't worry, if you have it set to digital assistant, you can still access power off menu by pressing and holding on power and volume down at the same time. And as you can see, I'm on the power off menu. Now, there's also the double press option. If it's enabled, you can select any app to open. I have it set to Samsung Notes, and I also have it set to the option Write with a pen. So when I double press on the side button, now it opens the Write with a pen menu, and I can start writing. Now let's go back. And let's find something else that I wanted to show you, which is going to be also in advanced features, this time multi-window. You can enable swipe for split screen. Now, to open split screen on your tablet, you can simply use 2 fingers and slide up like that, and it opens split screen. Let's see more about it. You can see I can also technically slide from the side, so I can do like that, right? Let's try it. Yeah, it also works. So it is a really good feature. I can have 2 apps at once. I can also click on them to close them. There's lots of different things here. I can also resize it. If I don't care about that calculator being that big, I can make it small. Yeah. And now let's see something else, which is swipe for pop-up view. Now if I swipe from the top right edge, I can resize the window, and now it's in pop-up view. I can move it around, but still use what's in the background. I think that's really useful for some use cases. I'm actually gonna go to a calculator, for example, but you can use it for wherever you want. I'm gonna resize the window to something small. Let's make it the smallest it can get, because if I get it like very small, then it'll minimize. But let's make it that small, maybe not, because it's gonna be hard to use it. But yeah, now it's great. I can move it around, and I can still use what's in the background. Now I can close it by clicking on this bar at the top, and that's great. Now let's see what else do we get. Now there's gonna be a different option also in the advanced features, but this time it's gonna be a dual messenger. If you go into that, you will be able to duplicate a certain app that you are using, like Facebook, like WhatsApp, any other social media. And what it gives you is an option to be signed into 2 separate accounts on both apps. So for example, if you're attending your work account and your personal account, or if you have 2 separate numbers on WhatsApp, then you can do that. And first I'm gonna go ahead and download any app that I can duplicate. Not all apps are supported, but for example, I know that WhatsApp will. So let's download WhatsApp, and then let's install it. But you can do it for Instagram, for Facebook, for TikTok, I guess also. I'm not really sure. Facebook Messenger, the other things like that, maybe Telegram, if you use it as well. And now you can see it has appeared in available apps. Let's install a second copy. I'm gonna confirm. Now, if you want, you can use a separate contacts list for this app. I'm just gonna click on next without that, because it's gonna take a long time for me, but feel free to set it up so it actually is however you want it. Now, you'll see that I have 2 WhatsApps, and both of them can have a different account logged in. Now let's get to something else. This time we'll be getting outside of the advanced features. Let's go to About Tablet. Now go to Software Information. Once you click on build number 7 times, you can see in my case it's already enabled, but you need to click on it 7 times, then enter your screen lock. A new option will appear at the bottom. developer options. You can click on it, and now you have lots of different options that aren't typically being used. But here's the catch. Some of these features shouldn't be touched. As long as you don't understand what they mean, don't touch them, because they are gonna be bad for you. Some of these may break your tablet, may make it unusable, so be careful. Only change the things that you understand what they mean. So I'm gonna slide down to something that we can understand the meaning of. It's gonna be right here. Window animation scale, transition animation scale, and animator duration scale. Now, what it does is it changes the duration of animations on your tablet. You can see if I go to the home screen, it takes some time, and it's a smooth, pretty animation. You can also enable a folder. You can see it also takes some time, but you may prefer to have it faster. If you do, change the window animation scale to 0.5, transition animation scale to 0.5, and animator duration scale to 0.5. Now, all the animations will be faster. You can see when I open a folder, it is way faster now. And everything else will be faster. Opening apps is faster, stuff like that. If you want to get crazy with it, you can go to accessibility, then go to vision enhancements, and now go to reduce animations and enable it. Now, you can see there's no animations at all. Everything happens instantly. I'm not really a fan of it because it looks clunky to me. I like those smooth animations, but if you prefer it that way, feel free to set it that way. You'll see everything happens instantly. I'll actually switch it back because I'm not a fan of this mode, but feel free to mess around with it. Now let's go to something else, which is gonna be Hey Google. Let's see if it discovers it. Hey Google. Okay, it didn't, so it's disabled. If I go to Google app, what Hey Google does is when I say Hey Google out loud, it'll open Gemini. Remember Gemini from a moment ago? Yeah, this Gemini. So if you click on the profile icon in top right corner in the Google app, you can go to settings, you can set it up so you can activate it that way, hands-free, by saying Hey Google out loud. Let's go to Google Assistant and now go to Voice Match. Now, I'm gonna just remove Voice Match so I can set it up as fresh because it's already been set up by me. I'm gonna enable Hey Google. Now let's click on More and Agree, then More, and once I click on Agree here, it will ask me to say 4 phrases out loud to learn my voice. Hey Google, help me write a thank you note. Hey Google, what's the weather tomorrow? Okay Google, explain how a rainbow is formed. Okay Google, set a timer for 5 minutes. These are not only to set up your voice, but also these are suggestions of things that you can ask Gemini for. Now whenever I say either Hey Google or Okay Google, it'll open Gemini. And now let's get to the next thing, which is gonna be in settings again. Let's go to settings, then go to display. Now in display there's quite a few things. First of all, dark mode. If you like it that way, feel free to set it that way. I know that lots of people prefer the dark mode. Also, it saves a little battery because on OLED displays, whenever there's black being displayed, no power is being used by the display. You can also go to dark mode settings and set it to a schedule, but I'm gonna disable the dark mode because I think the light mode looks better on the camera. But dark mode, I use it on my personal devices. Now, let's go to some other things like motion smoothness. You can set it to adaptive or standard. The adaptive one will make the motion smoother. by setting your display to 90 Hz, but will also use more battery life. So I personally prefer the standard option, but if you want, feel free to set it to adaptive and test if you feel any different. If you do, you can leave it that way. If you don't feel any different, you can go back to standard so you don't waste your battery life. Now, going to some other things is Eye Comfort Shield. You can enable it and set it to a schedule or always on. Then it will make your display, you can see, warmer, and it is very comfortable for your eyes because blue light isn't the best thing for your eyes, so the warmer the display is, the more comfortable your eyes will feel. I will actually set it back to sunset to sunrise. You can also adjust the color temperature here. And now let's go back, and then you can go to font size and style and adjust it to yourself so you can see the display better. And let's maybe change it. I personally, because I have a very good vision, I like it to have it like at a low setting. Maybe not this one because it doesn't look too good, but maybe this one. But if you feel like it, feel free to set it to something higher. You can change the font style here as well. You can download fonts and you can enable bold font. Now there's also screen zoom, and you can change it so the display looks bigger. Like elements on the display look bigger or smaller. I'm gonna set it in the middle so it looks better on camera. And now let's go to something else, which is screen timeout. This is the time of inactivity on your tablet when you're not clicking on anything, after which the display will go off. And I personally like to set it at 10 or 30 because when I'm speaking and recording a video, sometimes I'm speaking for a bit longer than those 30 seconds, and you know, I don't want the screen to go off. But if you like it, feel free to set it to 30 or 15 seconds so the screen will lock itself after you don't click on anything for 15 or 30 seconds. By the way, it also saves the battery that way. So now let's get to something else. I'm just gonna double check what I wanted to show you. So it's gonna be now the edge panels. You can see I have it activated, and this is this little panel here on the side that I can slide towards the center of the screen to find different apps, as well as some AI feature, AI select, and I can customize it or disable it if you don't like it, but you can go to panels and customize it. Now you can set it to apps, people, tasks, weather, tools, clipboard, or reminder. I'm gonna leave it on apps, but I'm gonna edit it. Maybe let's remove some apps that I don't really need that much. I don't think I need clock as much. I do need calendar, so I'm gonna leave it, but maybe I'll replace internet with Chrome because that's what I use. Then I'm also gonna add Gmail to it, and maybe let's add something like the I don't know, maybe YouTube for entertainment. And now let's go back. Now you can see this edge panel has all of these apps. Now you can also go to handle and customize the handle size. I'm gonna make it a bit larger so I can see it a bit better. You can change the transparency of it. You can change its color so it's more visible, and you can make it even thicker. You can change its position to higher or lower, or you can also set it to left or right, probably depending on whether you're right or left-handed. Now let's get to something else, which is gonna be in display again, I believe. I'm just gonna double check. Yes, it's gonna be navigation bar. Now you can see I have it set to this bar, and you may like it at this bar, but you also may like it at buttons. Buttons are these three classic buttons: the Recents button that opens recently opened apps, Home button that goes to home, or Back button that goes back. Now you can also go to more options, set the button position to left, so it's gonna be here instead of here. I'm gonna set it to right, and you can swap the back and reset button also. Or you can set it to swipe gestures. Now in swipe gestures, to go to home, quickly slide up. If you want to go to recents, slide up and hold. And if you want to go back, slide from the side towards the center, either from the left side or from the right side. Okay, now going back to the display, there's gonna be one last thing in the display here, which is touch sensitivity. If you're using a screen protector on your tablet, it's worth enabling the touch sensitivity so it increases the sensitivity if you have any problems with the sensitivity when using that screen protector. Okay, and now it's time for the accessibility settings. So let's go to accessibility. Now go to vision enhancements. Now you'll find something like high contrast fonts. You can see all the gray fonts become black, and also all the fonts have now a little outline around them in the opposite color, so they are more visible. They stand out more. And that's a really good thing if you need that. Now you can also set a high contrast keyboard, and you can customize it, of course. Now you can see this is my keyboard, so the keys are more visible that way. Of course, as long as you need it. Now let's go to something else, which is gonna be extra dim. Once I slide down in vision enhancements, I can enable it. Now the screen is dimmer, even dimmer than I can set it to. And it's a good feature, especially at night, when you try to set your screen as dark as you can, and it's still too bright, and it's just too bright and you can see it, then enable extra dim, and it's gonna dim your screen a bit more. You can go to extra dim and change the intensity. Now, you can also set it to turn off after restart. So if you accidentally set it to too extra dim, you can restart the tablet to fix it. Now, also, if you go to accessibility, but this time to advanced settings, you'll find side up and volume up buttons and volume up and down buttons. These two features are the same thing, but different buttons. Side and volume up are basically these two, and volume up and volume down are these two. Now I will set side and volume up, and you can set it to some accessibility feature. You can enable talkback, enable magnification, some other things. I will do the extra dim that I've shown you. You can actually add 20 different things here, but I will set just one. Now when I press on these two buttons at once, let's set use to enable it. Now I can press on these two buttons and enable or disable extra dim. If you add more than that, then you will have an option to choose whichever one you want to use. And yeah, now let's go to also in advanced settings, you can go to flash notifications, and if you want, you can enable screen flash notifications, so whenever you receive a notification, you will see your screen flash like this. You can change the color of it. So let's set it to maybe red. I like red. And that's gonna indicate your notifications a bit more than just a little notification at the top. You can set it for all apps or for selected apps. Now I will disable it, and let's go to some three last things, which are gonna be now in the battery. Let's go to battery. Here is a power saving mode, and you can enable or disable it whenever you feel like to save your battery. You can adjust also the different settings of the power saving mode, so it is adjusted to your preference. Now there's also a very fun feature here. If you enable limit apps and home screen, now enable power saving, your whole tablet is gonna look like this. Just up to 10 apps. Of course, you can replace those 5 default ones with something else if you don't need them. But yeah, just 10, up to 10 possible apps and nothing more. And it really does save battery. Now I'm gonna turn off the power saving by clicking on 3 dots in top right corner, so I don't have I can actually use the tablet. But yeah, if you need it, then feel free to enable it. Now, battery protection. In battery settings, this increases your battery longevity. And now, if it's enabled, you can set it to basic, so when your battery is charged to 100%, it'll stop charging, then resume charging when it hits 95, and so on, so your battery doesn't overcharge, and it's a really good feature. But even better is when you set it to adaptive. Here, it'll learn your charging habits and adjust the patterns accordingly. So if you, for example, plug your phone in at night, then it'll start charging to 80%, then it'll stop charging once it hits 80 and resume about an hour before you're expected to wake up, so the tablet hits 100% shortly before you unplug it, so the tablet doesn't overcharge. Now, there's also a maximum feature which I don't really like, because it limits your battery percentage, and if you are about to have 80% of your battery from the beginning of using your tablet, I don't think it's worth it. It's just better to have it at adaptive and use the 100% your full battery, and then after 2 years it's gonna be 80%, not from the beginning. And even if you set it to 80% from the beginning, then after a few years the battery life will drop anyway, so it's not that worth it. Unless you just have your tablet plugged in all the time, 24/7, and you're planning on using this laptop for 10 years, maybe. And now the last thing in battery is charging settings and fast charging. Some regions disable it, and it's worth enabling it so your tablet charges faster. And these are all the things that I wanted to show you. I hope that you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments down below which of these settings you didn't know about and which of these settings you have changed by watching this video. And feel free to like and subscribe to our channel, and I'll see you in the next one.